The story of the United States begins with 13 colonies clinging to the eastern edge of North America. These colonies, founded by European powers, were a melting pot of cultures and ambitions. Life was hard. Settlers braved harsh winters, unfamiliar landscapes, and conflicts with Native American tribes. They yearned for freedom and opportunity, seeking a better life. Over time, these colonies grew. They developed their own unique identities and economies. The colonists began to question the rule of the distant British crown. The seeds of independence were sown, leading to a new era. By the 1770s, tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain had reached a boiling point. The colonies, feeling the weight of oppressive British rule, began to stir with the desire for freedom and self-governance. The seeds of revolution were being sown in the hearts and minds of the colonists. The colonists chafed under British taxes and regulations. The infamous Stamp Act and Townshend Acts imposed heavy financial burdens, leading to widespread resentment and unrest. The cry of "no taxation without representation" echoed through the streets and taverns. They believed they deserved the same rights and representation as any British citizen. The idea that they were being treated as second-class subjects fueled their determination to fight for equality and justice. Leaders like Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin emerged. These visionaries articulated the aspirations and grievances of the colonies, becoming the voices of a burgeoning movement. They argued passionately for independence. Their speeches and writings inspired many to join the cause, envisioning a future where liberty and justice were not just ideals but realities. On July 4, 1776, the Continental Congress took a bold step. Gathering in Philadelphia, they debated and deliberated, knowing the gravity of their decision. They adopted the Declaration of Independence. This momentous act was a declaration to the world that the colonies were united in their quest for freedom. This powerful document declared that all men are created equal. It was a revolutionary statement that challenged the existing social and political order. It proclaimed the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These words became the foundation of a new nation, inspiring generations to come. It was a shot heard around the world, igniting the flames of revolution. The struggle for independence had begun, setting the stage for the birth of the United States of America. The issue of slavery cast a long shadow over the young nation. It was a contentious topic that divided families, communities, and the entire country. The moral, economic, and political implications of slavery were deeply felt across the United States. By the mid-19th century, America was deeply divided. The northern states and the southern states had starkly different economies, cultures, and perspectives on slavery. The North, with its bustling factories and growing abolitionist movement, clashed with the South, heavily reliant on enslaved labor for its agricultural economy. The industrial North was rapidly modernizing, while the agrarian South remained rooted in traditions that depended on the exploitation of enslaved people. This division erupted into the Civil War in 1861. The war was a brutal and bloody conflict, with battles fought across the country from the fields of Gettysburg to the hills of Tennessee. Brother fought brother in a brutal conflict that tested the very soul of America. The war claimed hundreds of thousands of lives and left deep scars on the nation's landscape and psyche. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, led the Union through this dark period. His leadership was marked by his eloquent speeches and his steadfast commitment to the principles of liberty and equality. His unwavering belief in preserving the Union and his commitment to ending slavery shaped the course of the war. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation in 1863 was a turning point, declaring all slaves in Confederate-held territory to be free. The Union victory in 1865 marked the end of slavery in America and began the long and painful process of healing and reconstruction. The war's aftermath saw the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which aimed to secure rights for the newly freed African Americans. However, the scars of the Civil War and the struggle for true equality would persist for generations. Section 4. Forging a Nation Industrial Revolution and its Legacy. Following the Civil War, America experienced a period of unprecedented industrial growth. Factories sprang up across the nation, fueled by innovation and a wave of immigration. Railroads connected the vast country, facilitating trade and communication. Cities swelled with new arrivals seeking opportunity. Inventors and entrepreneurs like Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and Henry Ford revolutionized communication, transportation, and manufacturing. This period of rapid industrialization transformed America into an economic powerhouse, but also brought challenges, including labor unrest and a growing gap between the rich and the poor. Section 5. The Fight for Equality, the Civil Rights Movement. Despite the end of slavery, African Americans continued to face discrimination and segregation. The Jim Crow laws enforced racial segregation in the southern United States, creating a system of inequality that permeated every aspect of life. African Americans were denied basic rights and opportunities, from education to employment, and were often subjected to violence and intimidation. A century after the Civil War, a new generation rose to demand equality. This era saw the emergence of courageous leaders and activists who were determined to challenge the status quo. They organized protests, sit-ins, and marches, drawing national attention to the injustices faced by African Americans. The Civil Rights Movement, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr., who advocated for nonviolent resistance and civil disobedience, inspired millions to join the cause. His powerful speeches and unwavering commitment to justice became a beacon of hope for many. Rosa Parks, whose refusal to give up her bus seat sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, and Malcolm X, who advocated for black empowerment and self-defense, were also pivotal figures in the movement. They challenged Jim Crow laws and fought for voting rights, equal access to education, and an end to racial prejudice. Their efforts were met with resistance, but their determination never wavered. The desegregation of schools and the push for voting rights were significant milestones. African American students bravely entered previously all-white schools, facing hostility and violence, while activists worked tirelessly to ensure that every citizen had the right to vote. Through peaceful protests, boycotts, and acts of civil disobedience, the movement gained momentum. Sit-ins at segregated lunch counters and freedom rides through the South highlighted the pervasive nature of racial discrimination. They brought the issue of racial inequality to the forefront of the national conscience. The 1963 March on Washington, where Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, was a turning point that galvanized support for the movement. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, was a landmark achievement. It marked a significant step towards dismantling institutionalized racism. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 marked significant victories in the fight for equality, ensuring that African Americans could exercise their right to vote without facing discriminatory practices like literacy tests and poll taxes. But the struggle for social justice continues today. Modern movements like Black Lives Matter carry forward the legacy of the Civil Rights Movement, addressing ongoing issues of racial inequality and police brutality. The fight for equality and justice remains as relevant as ever. Section 6. America's Ascent from Regional Power to Global Superpower. The 20th century saw America emerge as a global superpower. The nation played a pivotal role in both world wars, helping to defeat tyranny and shape the post-war world. The Cold War pitted America against the Soviet Union in a decades-long ideological and technological struggle. America's economic might, military power, and cultural influence grew. It became a leader in science, technology, and innovation. From landing astronauts on the moon to developing life-saving medical breakthroughs, America pushed the boundaries of human achievement. Section 7. A legacy of innovation shaping the future. Today, America remains a nation of contradictions and complexities. It grapples with social, economic, and political challenges. Yet, its spirit of innovation, its entrepreneurial drive, and its commitment to democratic ideals continue to inspire the world. As America looks to the future, it seeks to address issues like climate change, economic inequality, and racial injustice while maintaining its position as a leader in a rapidly changing world. The story of America is still being written, a story of resilience, progress, and the ongoing pursuit of a more perfect union.